This is Enjoy It While It Lasts, and I'm your host, Herman Faust. Today I sat down for a life story interview with Jesse. His friends call him Pinky. Jesse grew up very close to his father, who he describes as old school. A dad that always tried to keep him close and teach him what he felt was important to learn to be a man. Jesse lost his father when he was 16, and this caused him to struggle with that grief for a few years and go down what he calls the wrong road. Jesse started to stabilize, and then shortly after became a father at a young age. He found himself also raising a baby all on his own. He tried to make things work with the son's mother, and they gave the relationship another chance after he convinced her to come back to the family. Jesse started to feel a buildup of resentment and then fear over losing his son that led to a moment of self-harm when he threatened to end his own life and did stab himself. Jesse is honest about what led up to the incident, and he opens up as we break down what it cost him, as his son now lives 9 hours away. He also talks about how he's grown since then, his current parenting experience, and how he has found acceptance with where life has taken him. And he talks about what he wants to do moving forward. I hope you enjoy getting to know Jesse, aka Pinky. Do you have a clear-cut first memory?
Clear-cut first memory? What you mean? Like,
just the first thing you can remember in your life.
First thing I can remember in my life? I remember when I was little, when we used to, growing up in East Dallas. That's where I grew up at, with I have two sisters and my brother. I'll say maybe around 6-8 years old, maybe.
Okay. What do you think? What's one of those first things you can remember?
Well, I remember when I was around, I want to say 6 years old. Like I said, we used to live in East Dallas, and then from there, I remember us moving out of there. We moved to this trailer park at this mobile homes, and pretty much grew up there.
So you remember the move itself?
Yeah.
What do you remember, like, as being that little about it? Like, what do you remember about moving?
Well, I remember, I really didn't know what was going on. I just remember everybody just packing stuff into boxes, and, they kept telling us that we're going to a new house, and then, getting there, and I remember being excited, being in a new home, something different. And, it's pretty much
just the whole like confusion and excitement of it as a little kid, like what's going on. And some kids react differently when they go to a new place. Were you excited once you got there, or did you hate it and want to go back to your old place?
It was both, because I was excited. Excuse me, I was excited, being in a new place, something different. But at the same time, I kind of hated it because when we moved, I didn't have no friends there. I didn't know nobody. All my friends were over there in East Dallas. And, so it was, at the beginning, it was kind of hard making friends, but as time went by, I made a lot of friends there. Some of them, to this day, I'm still close to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What going back when you were that little, who was the person that you would go to, like, whenever you needed comfort?
I would say it would either be my dad or my uncle. Yeah, those the person. Really, my dad was one of the ones that I really looked up to, and also my uncle. Like if any problems that I had, or something that I needed help with, those were the two people I would go to.
Most people, at least, usually go for their mom first in that situation, and their dad usually is the one they say teaches them things later on. What was it about your relationship with your dad that were you able to go to him even as a little kid to help you out?
Growing up, my dad, he was like, he would always, you know, he was old school. And so he would always, you know, us boys, he would always keep us close, trying to, you know, show us the man road, you know. And he would always, if he was outside working on his car, he would have us right there, even if it's just hand me a tool, you know. So growing up, I was always, you know, closer to my dad.
You wanted to be like him.
Exactly.
Yeah. As a kid, did you ever have a thing that you went to, like whether, you know, some little kids, they have like a blankie or something like that, or a favorite toy that they go to? Did you ever have like a possession of yours that just made you feel better when you were a kid?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Nothing like that stands out for you?
No.
Okay. What was your favorite form of entertainment? Were you a TV watcher? Were you a music listener? Was you gameplay? What did you do?
I was a movie watcher and playing video games. That was my getaway.
What kind of movies were you into at first when you were little?
You know, your regular Disney movies, Nickelodeon movies.
Okay.
You know.
Any stand out that like were your favorites?
Oh yeah, Toy Story.
Okay.
Yeah, Toy Story. And to this day, I still, you know, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. You know, are you going to watch the new one when it comes out? Yeah. I know. Me and my wife were very excited this last time when the fourth one came out. We were more excited than our kids were. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah, like,
it's crazy. Yeah, because I mean, we grew up watching those movies, so you know, we know everything that how it all evolved.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like we try to force it up for us. At least we're like, no, we love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's the same thing I try to do with my son. You know, and then he'll be like, "Dad, that's boring. I don't want to watch that." Yeah,
I would be upset.
Yeah, right.
You said games. What games did you play?
Oh man, I started my first system that I had was a Super Nintendo, and my favorite game was Donkey Kong.
Okay, I love that one too. My one where you could switch out with Diddy?
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite one was the railroad one. You know?
Yeah. You had to it was mainly just making the right jumps at the right time.
Exactly.
But it was like constant. It got faster and faster. It was definitely very hard. Harder one, I think.
Yeah. And then from that one, it evolved to like Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and just kept evolving from there.
Have you held on to that hobby as you got an adult?
Oh yeah, I still have all my systems.
You still have the old ones too?
I have them up in the attic.
Oh man, that's cool.
So once in a while, I'll bring down my 64 and jump on 007 or Perfect Dark.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I hate that I don't have my old ones. Like I'll still try to, you know, like on the Switch, they have you can play the old Nintendo games online or whatever. Yeah. But it's not the same as if I had my own console.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have all my consoles. I think the only one that I have right now that really doesn't work is my PlayStation 2. Other than that,
everything else is good.
Everything else is good.
Damn, I'm envious. What was your home life like growing up? You mentioned a little bit already, so I know you got some siblings. First off, what's the age order of your siblings?
I have two older sisters. One of them, she is 40, like early 40s.
Okay.
And my other sister, she's late 30s. And then my brother, he is 32, and I'm 33.
Okay. So there's about 6 or 7 years between you and your sisters?
Yeah.
It sounds like they were closer in age, just like you and your brother are closer in age?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like just a day in your house growing up whenever y'all were all...
growing up, my oldest sister, she left at a young age. She got married and left at a young age. So, and then it was just me and my brother and my younger sister. But I mean, she's still older than me, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And it was us. I remember growing up, my sister, she would always I would always try to go with her where she went, right?
Uh-huh.
And I remember she would always tell me, "Hey, can you go get this for me?" And as soon as I would go get it and I would come back, she'll be gone. And I'd be like, man, she never wanted to take me nowhere with her. You know, she always wanted, like an older sibling never wants to take the young one with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could say that I'm closer to her than my older sister. We both close to each other.
Y'all had that extra time in the house together, probably. Helped made part of the reason.
Yeah.
What about just like with your parents? I know you said your dad was always trying to keep you close and show you basically how to be. But just as far, was he around like when you got home from school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a regular guy. You're 9 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd be home from school. He would already be home before me.
Got you. And then so when you're in the house, was your was it kind of chaotic out there with the three of y'all, the kids, or were y'all already pretty laid back kids? Or
no, we're pretty laid back. I mean, me and my brother, we would fight just like any siblings. We would play fight, and argue over video games and stuff. Yeah,
nothing big though.
No, nothing big.
What? How were you disciplined as a kid?
It's like the ordinary Mexican home, give whooping with either the belt or smack across the head.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often were you one that needed it a lot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I you could say I was a troublemaker.
Out of all the kids.
Out of all the kids, yeah.
What was the type of trouble you would get into?
Well, growing up, I remember getting into stuff or my parents would tell me stay close by, but I would never listen. I would grab my bike and go down the blocks.
You're always out to explore.
Yeah, I was out to explore, and I remember one time too. We broke a window at the trailer parks, and we got in trouble for that, and got a whooping. Yeah.
It's like I was whenever you said typical like Mexican household, I was waiting for you to bring up the chancla. But
oh yeah, that too. That was from mom's side.
Yeah, that was whenever dad wasn't there.
Yeah, dad wasn't there, and and if mom would say, wait till your dad gets home. Oh man, you knew you did something real bad.
That's when it was worse.
Yeah.
Would you just be like just dreading it the whole time?
Yeah, I'll just be like, oh man, watching the clock. Like, please, man, don't tell dad. Please don't tell dad. Yeah.
How has your relationship with your parents changed as you've gotten older?
Well, my dad. We lost my dad when I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now it's just me, my brother, and my mom. My sisters, they've moved out. They're doing their life. Right now it's just me and my brother taking care of my mom. She's old. She's has health problems. Mm-hmm. Right now, she's hospitalized. We go visit her once in a while here. But other than that, my relationship with my mom has gotten closer. We've gotten closer, a lot closer.
So you're basically a part-time caretaker now with her?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there an in-between stage before she needed that type of care? Like, did you ever reach a point of feeling as like on friend terms with your mom, or was there always like a level of like, nah, I can't be like, that's still my mom. They got to have a certain amount of.
I think I want to say maybe whenever I had my son, we've that kind of I guess me being a parent started understanding her more. How she was with me and why she was being like that with me. Yeah. Now that I have my son, I understand it more as a parent, and that's another thing that drew us closer. And yeah, like I could tell her stuff. I can talk to her, and she'll understand, and she'll give me advice. Mm-hmm. Friend wise, I mean, yeah, you could say, we.
Well, you said that you lost your dad whenever you were 16. Assuming because of the way you described how he was leading up to that was a hard time for you.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit? What happened?
Yeah. I remember that day when it all happened. I remember that day. It was a Friday morning. No, Thursday morning. My bad. And I was getting ready to go to school. And I remember my mom walking into the room, and she tells me, she's like, "Hey, you're not gonna go to school today. I need you to go with me. We need to take your dad to the hospital. He's not doing good." Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, "Well, what's wrong?" And so I'll go into my dad's room and I see him that he's really not. He don't look good. And one good thing about my dad, I guess you could say, I don't know if he felt it, that, you know, he was getting sicker at the time. So he tried to teach me a lot of things not all at once, but kind of like rushing it, you know.
It felt faster than his normal way of teaching?
Exactly, you know, the normal way of teaching. Because I remember I was like maybe 12 years old, 11, and he was already teaching me how to drive because he started losing his vision, so he couldn't really drive no more. So he started teaching me young, and I would be the one to move him around. So that day, you know, woke up and everything, and I seen him. So we get him in the car, take him straight to the hospital, and you know, the doctors start doing their thing. They get everything under control, right? And so they said, we're gonna keep him here for about a week. I'm like, okay. So the week goes by. It's Sunday, and the doctor tells us, okay, everything looks good. He should be out tomorrow morning. I'm like, okay. So that Monday, I go to school, and after school, I was gonna go to the hospital to pick my dad up, but that never happened. You know, get out of school, I get home, I see I have a lot of missed calls on the house phone, and I'm like, what the heck? So I call my sister, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, hey, I need you to come to my house. We need to talk. And I'm like, well, I can't because I got to go pick up dad right now. I said, I'll go afterwards. And she's like, no, I need you to come here now. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, well, let me just wait for my brother to get off from school. Brother gets home. We go to my sister's, and I see her, you know, she's crying. And they don't want to tell us what's going on. And then I remember the pastors from our church that we used to go to, they pull up. And I seen them, as soon as I seen them pull up, I just get these feelings like
that's when you knew?
Yeah, like something's wrong, you know, like why are you here, you know? And yeah, that's when he breaks it down and says, your dad has passed, you know? And at first I didn't want to believe it, you know, like, nah, it can't be true. Like, doctor just told us he's going to be out. Yeah. And you kind of find out it was true. We get there and he's gone.
So, it was unexpected in that sense, but was he had poor health like leading up to it?
Yeah, his heart was growing, it was enlarging. Oh. Yeah, and his feet, they were starting to get really swollen with fluid. Yeah, he health-wise he was doing bad.
But it seems like even knowing that, especially at that age, you probably weren't expecting that at all. Like you weren't seeing that as like a near future thing.
Exactly. At that age, my mind wasn't thinking about, I'm gonna lose my dad soon. You know. Yeah. My mind was in other things. I wasn't focused on that. You know.
What was the fallout like for you? Like, how long did it? I mean, it's not something you maybe ever really get over 100%. I mean, I could tell it bothers you even now a little bit. Yeah. But just how long did it take you to get over the worst of it, I guess? Like, how bad was it for you?
Oh, man. It did last quite a bit. I did shut down for a good minute. I remember, like, because all my family, they all, you know, go to church. You know, we're from a Christian family. And all my family, they're all into church and stuff. So I grew in anger towards God when that happened, because I was like, why? Like, all my family serves you, you know. Yeah. Why would you let this happen, you know? And so I remember I grew a grudge towards God, and eventually, you know, I let go of it. And but it took me, I want to say, maybe about 3 years. It was about 3 years that I was shut down and just like mad towards everything, you know, like why would he let this happen?
If you're a believer and get to the point of being mad at God, you're pretty much mad at everything.
Exactly.
Did that have any major negative impacts on your, like, did you end up making any bad decisions during that time? Or
yeah. After that happened, I didn't really have a male role model to look up to. You know, I lost my dad. And so after that, I chose the bad road. I went down the bad road, started hanging out with the bad crowd and skipping school, smoking weed, you know, and just getting into truancy courts and, you know, getting locked up and stuff like that. Yeah, I went down the bad road after that.
whenever you think that was like part of the anger too, not just because your dad, you don't have the role model, but just part of your anger of like, well, you mentioned we serve God and it didn't do me no good.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like you're rebelling against, well, I'm just gonna do what I'm not supposed to do now, I guess.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened. Like, I just rebelled, and I just said, you know what, to hell with everything, and yeah, we just went down the bad road.
What at any point while you were doing that, did you kind of question your, like, what you're doing, like why, like kind of like, if you're in your own words, you're calling it the bad road. So like at the time, did you ever like feel like you're making bad decisions?
Yeah, there was times where like, cause like I would think like, damn, you know, my dad wouldn't want me to be doing this kind of things. You know, why am I doing this? You know, mm-hmm. So at the same time, I was like, you know, why am I doing this? You know, when not me knowingly that what I'm doing, it's wrong and it's gonna get me in trouble. But at the same time, I had this anger that I just didn't care. You know,
it made you made you not care about anything.
Exactly.
What do you think? Well, I guess first off, did that anger go away?
Yeah.
And then what do you think helped make it go away?
I guess you could say I met up with some old friends, you know, and hanging around with them, and you know, seeing their lifestyle, the way, you know, how they were with their family, it kind of like helped me, you know, just push that away.
And was that you said, is that like kind of at the end of that 3 or 4 year run that you talked about, or was it much? Okay, so it didn't last. It didn't change your whole trajectory of your life for long term.
Yeah, no.
You were able to get yourself back in perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you've talked a lot about your siblings so far. I want to, before we kind of go through the timeline a little bit more, how has your relationship with your siblings evolved? I guess starting with your older sisters. I know you mentioned they're moved out. Like, are they far away? Do you see them at all?
Yeah, I see them.
Okay.
They're probably about an hour away from me. My relationship with my older sister, we've gotten close. You know, we talk, but like I said, my closer relationship was with my other sister. Mm-hmm. With my younger sister, we're like close. She'll tell me her problems, and I could tell her my problems.
So y'all are still like friends, close.
Yeah, we're real close. Even though I forgot to mention this, like they're my sisters. I consider them sisters. They're half sisters, mm-hmm. but I consider them full sisters. You know, but yeah, we do have different dads. Mm-hmm. But my dad took both of my sisters when they were real little, because their father walked out of their lives, mm-hmm. and so since little. My dad has always been a father figure to them, you know.
They looked at him as dad too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and me and my brother, also growing up, I forgot to mention this. We're growing up, like I said, we would fight a lot. Yeah. And I do remember one big fight that we had, and that was our last fight. Okay. And I remember, even if you look outside my house, that fence is leaning. That was because of that fight. And I remember that day we were outside and we were just talking, joking, and then he started taking it too far, right? And I told him, I even warned him. I said, "Hey, man, all right, stop. You're taking it too far now." Uh-huh. But he kept on, and we got into it. We started actually like an actual fight. Like, neighbors came out and everything. Everybody was outside watching. But what made me stop, my dad already had passed. And when I was gonna give him that last hit, I saw my dad's face in him, mm-hmm. and that it shocked me, and it pushed me back, and I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" You know? Yeah. And after that, you know, I let him get up, and he kept hitting me, but I wasn't hitting him back because, like, I was seeing my dad's face in him, you know, and I kept telling him, "Stop, stop, stop." And after that, that was the one fight, and after that, no more fights. Me and my brother have gone real close to each other. He's been there for me a lot, and I've been there for him too. That
it sounds like it's a combination. Like, almost, y'all were almost pretty much at the age where you were about to stop fighting. You still fighting it from, because like you said, as kids growing up, you're always gonna be fighting. Yeah. But y'all were already reaching that age where, as teenagers, you're getting towards the end of it, but then that one major dramatic incident happened. Was that like a worse fight than y'all had normally gotten into before that?
Yeah, like that fight, we both drew blood. Like,
and before it would normally just like be bullshit fights.
Yeah, just little bullshit fights. You know, he'll go and tell mom, or I'll go and tell mom, like, hey, he's bothering me, or I'm gonna whoop his ass, but you don't whoop his ass.
So, okay, but that was the most serious it had ever been. By far. Okay.
Yeah, that was the most serious. Like, I'm telling you, neighbors came out, everybody was outside watching. Yeah. I'm surprised nobody called the cops. But yeah, that was the one and last fight, big fight.
And y'all, I know y'all. You said y'all got in closer. Like, how? I guess how would you describe your relationship today?
Say again.
How would you describe y'all's relationship today?
Me and my brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're real close. Like, man, he's like my right hand man. Like he has my back, I have his back. There's been times where like I've literally gotten stranded in the middle of nowhere, 6-7 hours away, and he'll throw everything out and go get me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, our relationship has gotten real close.
What was school like for you growing up?
School?
Yeah.
At what age?
Did it change? If it was it one way until a certain time?
Yeah.
I guess tell me early and then tell me what changed.
Okay. Well, from elementary to I want to say middle school, I was an AB student. I was getting good grades, all into school. You could say I was a nerd.
Okay.
And then high school came, and that's when everything changed. Started having a girlfriend, and then skipping school and smoking weed.
Did you start skipping like even a little bit before your dad passed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't as bad as before.
Yeah. It got
like I would skip school, but I was still in school. What I mean?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's definitely. I get what you're saying. It got a lot worse when he passed, but
exactly.
But it started a little bit though when you got to high school.
Yeah.
What do you think was the main? Was it getting that girlfriend, that first girlfriend? Was that, do you think what the main shift was, or was it something else?
That played a part of it, cause like she I guess she introduced me to a lot of new things. Like I said, when I met her, I got introduced to smoking weed, and skipping school, like, and I guess, like you trying to like, I guess show off, or I don't know what's the correct word, but you're trying to like.
You gotta look hard. You want to look big. You don't want to look soft or like you ain't down to do stuff.
Exactly. I think that's what was the main reason why I was doing that.
Especially if you described yourself as a nerd growing up as a kid. Did you feel like did you have a hard time making friends before, like as an elementary school?
A little bit, yeah. I did a little bit at the beginning. But then it all changed around, I want to say, 4th grade. And that's when I met my real true friends.
Okay.
To this day, I still have those friends. And I thank God for that.
Okay, so then so you had already at least had. It's not like you were going in the same way you were before you met those friends, like where you were completely like feeling like a loner. You had a group of people already.
Yeah.
But it was more. So then what, I guess besides the girlfriend, then what else would you say contributed to you wanting to, was it liking weed that much, or was it something like, what was it?
Just the whole experience, the whole adrenaline, like.
The feeling of it all rolled up.
Yeah, like the rush, the am I gonna get caught, Yeah.
And that feeling could apply to like, everything basically. That am I gonna get caught feeling as a kid. I mean as a teen, that's what led to me every night. I didn't skip school a ton, but when I did, I'm doing something here, or whenever I'd steal something like shoplifting, and then I'd be like that same type of adrenaline rush. It seems like that's like the type of adrenaline rush you're describing, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, how did you end up finishing high school then, or did you did?
When I was in, you could say I dropped out for a little bit, but I ended up going back. I just didn't. I didn't go back to your regular high school. I ended up going. I don't know if you ever heard of Job Corps.
Okay.
I went to Job Corps. Right there, you do 1 week school, 1 week hands-on training on what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. Finished my trade. Graduated and everything.
What was your trade?
Ended up going for a CNA.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that. Finished it, but I didn't. I was gonna continue, but it's dealing with a human. It seemed too much. What's that word? Like dealing with a person. It's too much of a risk. Like anything can happen.
It's too much of a wild card of dealing with the other person's.
Yeah. And
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was gonna say, and also out there is where I met my son's mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you when you became a dad?
I was 20 or 21.
Before that, like, did you have a? So you graduated with your trade, and you said you pretty quickly decided you didn't want to do that as a career.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea of like did you have like a long-term idea of what you wanted a career to be, or were you just kind of going job to job?
I've always wanted to be a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Working on cars. That's one thing I love doing. But I was just going from job to job. I wasn't focused on just one thing because. Mm-hmm. At the time, see, right after I finished, you could say, I had my son right away,
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have the time to, sit around and think like, oh, I'm gonna just follow this career. I had to, get off my ass and start working, start making money.
You needed money now.
Yeah.
What did you end up doing?
At first I ended up doing roofing.
Okay.
Yeah, I started off as a roofer, doing roofing, and then from there I moved to I ended up moving. I was in New Mexico actually when I started roofing, and then moved back to Dallas, and then just started doing like warehouse jobs. And then one of my friends, he put me on to painting, and I stayed doing painting houses for a good time.
Mm-hmm. So at this point now, have you any plans on trying to go the mechanic route?
Yeah, I mean, I do side jobs here and there. I have been thinking about like trying to save up some money and trying to open up like our own little shop. Yeah.
Have you ever had any health issues throughout your life?
Health issues? Not that I can recall. No.
Okay. Do you know if you need to be on the lookout for, like, if it was hereditary for your dad's heart?
I think so. I know like diabetes and all that runs in the family. So,
but so far, at least you've been able to.
Yeah, so far everything with me is good.
How old's your son now?
My son, he's 11.
Okay. Do you have any other kids?
No, just that one.
All right. Do you have any like a guiding philosophy as a parent?
No.
You just kind of take it as it comes.
Yeah.
How
I don't think nobody has a manual on how to become a parent.
No manual, no. But like for me, when I say like I don't try to make a decision based off of what's going to make the kid in front of me happy. I'm trying to think of like the adult they're going to become, and that's like kind of like what I try whenever I'm thinking like what do I think is the right thing. That's what I'm keeping in mind. That's what I mean by. But yeah, even then I'm probably doing everything right. 9 things out of 10 wrong. So how involved with your son are you?
A lot.
You were you with his mother for a while, or were you?
Me and her were together for 5 years, 6 years, and then just you could say we fell out of love, and we both went our separate ways.
Okay.
But I mean, we still have communication, because of my son.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, me and her, she does her thing, I do my thing.
Okay, so the first several years of his life, it was like a two parent household for your son.
Well,
and then
it was, I had it's a crazy story.
Tell me about it.
All right, so when we first had our son, we were together, and she left. She actually left me with a newborn.
Okay.
You know, she blames it on it was postpartum depression, and she left me with a newborn, and I was struggling hard. And one thing I gotta say, I'm give a quick shout out to KK, you know, for helping me out. She gave me a job, you know, doing maintenance work, and while I was working there, she had my son in her office watching him. She helped me out a lot, you know, give her 100% thanks. And yeah, and my friends too, they would all help me out. I was everywhere I went. You see me with a car seat, walking around with this car seat, you know.
Yeah.
And then about I would you know talk to his mom and try to get her to come back. Eventually, she did come back. And
how long did she stay gone for?
About just before my son turned 1, just before he turned a year. Yeah, she came back. You say maybe like 6 months later.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, so she came back, and ever since she came back, she stuck around, been there for him in his life. And yeah, and then after that, we stuck around, got together back.
Were y'all living together at any point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, since we lived together since we finished school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it seemed like the way you described it, the breakup was pretty mutual.
Yeah.
So what has parenting been like for you since the breakup?
It's not hard, but you know, you always do need, you know, that other person to help you out in certain things. But I mean, other than that, I've been managing it and handling it well.
Your son lives with you full time, or most of the time, or how's they split?
Right now he's with his mom in El Paso. I get him, you know, on summers, holidays. Yeah.
How long has that been the case?
It's already been like 4 years. Like that.
Okay. So
yeah, it's been a while. Me and her, we split back in 2016.
Okay.
That's when me and her split, and ever since after that, you know, we what's that word?
Depends on which thing you mean.
Co-parenting.
Co-parents. Okay.
Yeah, we co-parent.
See, I wanted to say that, but I was like, if you're talking about something different, I didn't want to mess you up.
Yeah, no, yeah, we co-parent. Yeah.
So for a while, y'all were still living in the same area, though.
No.
Or did she move like pretty quickly?
She moved far.
Oh.
She left the state. She went to Florida, and she one of the reasons also she moved out there was because she was still following her school. You know, like I said, we both studied the same thing, finished the same trade, but she continued on, and she's an RN now. You know, and yeah, she's doing pretty well for herself.
Okay, so then you went from being a single parent to a newborn, basically, for a little while, and then y'all were you were just a regular household, I guess. I don't know if that's what regular is, but you know what I mean, a 2-parent household.
Yeah. To
now, almost really quickly, your son just kind of is gone far from you.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
It's hard, man, because it's not the same as, you know, when you have them living with you.
Yeah.
You watch them grow and what they're into and everything.
You know everything.
Exactly. And you know, right now my son is far, and I talk to him on the phone, you know, video chat and stuff. But it's not the same because yes, we have a connection, but how can I say, like, whenever he comes over and there's certain things that I don't know about him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard because like sometimes I feel like we're not connecting enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like there's a lot of his life that I know I'm missing out on. You know, that I wish I could be there. And there's times where I do want to move, you know, closer to him, but at the same time I also have, you know, my mom to look after. So I'm in a situation where it's like, you know, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, because I know if I leave my mom, you know, I'm like I'm her number one pillar, you know?
Yeah.
I'm the one that holds her up.
That gives her stability.
Exactly. And she's even told me straight up too, like, I will know what I'll do without you, you know? And so it's quite a pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? So you said you've sounds like you have given some serious thought though to moving.
Yeah, I have.
What if you were to do that? Like, what would your plan be?
My plan would be, before I do anything, I would have to, you know, save up some money to be able to get a spot out there, and then, you know, either one of the things that I know for sure that I can always fall back onto, it's the mechanic, because I know working on cars.
Yeah.
So I know getting out there and getting a job wouldn't be as hard. But
do you think that it would be easy, like that it would just be accepted for, if you were to live close, that it would be like more of a 50-50 parenting?
I think so. I think it would, you know, and it would take a lot of pressure off of her, since I'll be closer, you know, and because I know she's had problems with my son in school, and I wish I could be there to, you know, correct him in his you know, whatever mistakes he's doing. Kind
of show him the path the way your dad showed you.
Exactly. That's one thing I do. I do whenever he comes here. I try to teach him the same things that my dad taught me the way he taught me. You know. So if I'm out here working, and if I see him playing video games, I'm like, hey, get off those games and get your ass out here. You know, come cut this yard, or, you know, come help me with this. Of course, I do let him, you know, have his time and enjoy his childhood, you know. But I try to, you know, teach him, so when he's out there with his mom, he already has knowledge of it. You know what I mean? It's
probably a lot harder to find the balance when you don't have him all the time. Because if you had him all the time, like you know that he gets to play the game at your house or whatever. So cut it off now. But if he's only here for a little bit of time, you're trying to you don't want him to feel that, oh, I go to dad's house, I got to do a bunch of work.
Exactly.
But you still try to have to find that line of like, well, I got to teach you shit.
Exactly. And not only that, but like another thing, like whenever he's down here and my brother's kids are here and they're playing around or they're fight, you know, and he'll come and tell me like, or like they'll come and, you know, oh, he's doing this to me, or he did this to me. And then he'll tell me, no, I didn't. You know, it's kind of hard too, because it's like, are you telling me the truth? You know, like, because like, since he doesn't live with me full time, I can't. You
don't know when he's. It's like you don't know when he's lying, when he's telling the truth.
Exactly. Like,
I'll try to make you feel a little bit better. My kids have got it to the point where I don't know when they're telling the truth or lying either. So I don't know if that. I don't living with them. You still might not be able to figure it out if he's good at tricking you.
Exactly. You know.
But you're right though. You don't have that advantage of seeing his day to day to know, oh, this is what he does when he lies.
Exactly. You know, so that's one thing that I do struggle with. Like, are you lying to me or are you telling me the truth? You know, and I don't want to be that you know, an asshole and be like, oh, every time I go to dad's, he never believes me. Yeah. You know. Yeah. But
you also don't. You're trying to not also be just like being the pushover where he just knows like, dad just falls for everything.
Yeah. You know, and I try to be a friend with him. But also a parent, you know. There's a time to be, you know, be friends with him. Like, I want him to be able to feel, you know, comfortable letting me know if something's wrong with him, if this is going on in his life, you know. But I also want him to know he's dad too, you know. Yeah,
it's one of those, you want them to be able to come to you, tell you when they're struggling. That way, they do it now. That way, when they're teens or older, that they just have it ingrained in them.
Exactly.
Like, nah, I'd rather talk to dad about this than.
Yeah.
What have you had any? Have you had any vices that you've had to struggle with in your life?
I mean, you know, growing up, I you know, in high school, experimented a lot. Tried I smoked weed, like I said. I've tried white. I've tried LSD one time, but struggle. I don't think I have any struggles.
You never got to the point of needing it.
No.
Substances is like the number one thing that people have, but like some people have told me like it's their eating, like they can't, like they eat so much sugar or whatever. Some people it's just a bad like it's just something they know that they do that waste their time, that's not good for their brain or anything, you know, like just in any type of thing that you, if you can. And again, I'm not asking you the second time for you to tell me you have one if you don't. Yeah. But just to kind of clarify what I mean, just anything like that.
No.
You try to be pretty self-disciplined.
Yeah, I try to like I always I guess you could say I always picture myself like my son's always watching me. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what I put in my head all the time, like, hey, your son's watching you, you know, so straighten up, you know, do right, don't do something that he's gonna catch on and then might think that's cool and then he picks that up, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I always I try to look at life that way, like, hey, you're always being watched, your son's watching, you know, so try to do right.
I like that. If you're able to keep that in your head all the time, it's your natural way of being. You don't have to fake it when your son is around.
Exactly.
I like that. How do you think your son would describe y'all's relationship right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, hopefully he'll say it's a good one, you know, like we play together. When it comes to video games, we'll hop online together. That's one thing I could say about this new this new generation, this new technology, that, you know, even though he's far away, we can still play together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he would describe you as strict? Or
oh yeah. Yeah, he'll say, yeah, that's strict.
What do you think is different about you now from when you were like early 20s, just barely an adult, barely with your son being born?
I'd say more mature now, more settled down, because I know back in my 20s, I would always be out at the strip clubs and, you know, drinking out with the friends at the clubs, and now it's just go to work, come home, sit down, turn the TV on, watch some Stranger Things, you know?
Just more calm?
Yeah, more calm, more laid back now.
Before I get to like my last few questions that I ask people, I want to always try to give an opportunity, because, you know, the whole point is you're telling your life story. So if there's anything that you feel like is important that we haven't talked about from my questions, I want to give you a chance to either, whether it be from your childhood, if you got your adulthood, if it's a little bit, if it's a lot, anything that you feel is important that we haven't gotten to. Because the point of this is, somebody's listening, they're gonna be like, I'm trying to get them to know you.
Yeah.
Like what anything that you think else is important for them to know you. And if not, then hopefully that just means I did a good job with my questions and I got to everything.
Oh yeah, you did good on your questions. I can't think.
No major events in your life that happened or anything that just hasn't come up naturally.
Oh, actually, you know what? There is one.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know about this, but whenever me and my baby mama, you know, we're together, and the time that we split up, one of the reasons we split up, we had a big fight, and that day I remember, I even stabbed myself that day, and it was so stupid, man. Looking at it back now, it was so fucking stupid, and nobody ever do that, you know.
Wait, like you were trying, I thought you were about to say like you stabbed yourself, like fucking up, like you were trying to hurt yourself.
Yeah, like kill myself.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happened that day, we had gotten into it, right, and she started saying some like really bad shit, and pretty much to the point of saying, you know, I wish I would have never met you. I wish my son didn't have your blood. I wish you were dead. And we were in the kitchen, we were fighting, and so I remember looking, and I seen a knife, and my dumb ass grabs that knife, and I said, bitch, you really want me dead? I'll grant you your wish. And I remember I stabbed myself.
Where'd you stab yourself?
Right here, like literally, when I went to the hospital, the doctor told me, you're lucky that the knife hit your rib, because it would have punctured your lung, you would have been dead. Yep.
Damn. So you have you ever had you never had anything like that before, like as far as a depression or attempted suicide or any?
Nah.
That was just a
that
one
was,
time.
Yeah, that was like the breaking point, you know, like.
Man, that's I have, you know, I've talked to people. You hear about people that have gone through stuff and maybe have tried to hurt themselves. But I don't know about. I've never heard somebody in the spur of the moment stabbing themselves in the side.
Yeah.
How bad was the injury? First off,
the knife went pretty deep. It was a fillet knife. Yeah, it's a knife went deep. It hit the rib, and when I pulled it out, it was just like in the movie. You see blood gushing out, you know, and then I remember they called the cops, and cops were on the way. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta get out of here. I took off from the house, and I called one of my close friends. He picked me up, and him and my brother picked me up, and I told him that they kept telling me, you need to go to a hospital, man. Like, you need to go to the hospital. And I kept telling them, no, I'm good. They're like, no, that's too much blood. You need to go. Mm-hmm. So they took me to the hospital. I get there. Doctor checks me. And then cops walk in. And they're like, hey, are you Jesse? And I'm like, yeah. And so they start asking me, no, my bad. They said, I gave my brother's name. I told them, they said, are you Jesse? I'm like, no, I'm Jason. And so they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, well, what happened to you? And I just made up this whole story that I got robbed in the street, you know, and got stabbed. And then I got lucky because I guess you could say the officer knew I was lying. Mm. And he looked at me, he said, I'm going to walk out and I'm going to walk back in and I'm going to ask you the same questions and I want you to be honest with me. He's like, because if you're lying to me, he's like, you're going to get in big trouble. So in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, if I tell you the truth, I'm in trouble. And if I lie, I'm in trouble. So I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go with the lie. You know, and I did. I lied again. And he said, all right, I'm going to send my partner out there to where you say you were at. He said, we're going to go over surveillance out there. And if we see anything, he's like, if you say the truth, then you'll be good. Man, I got so lucky. The surveillance out there weren't even working. Yeah. So I got so lucky. Kyle comes back. He's like, okay, we're going to believe you because surveillance out there is not working. Uh-huh. So I kind of got away with it. But
it's not like you were threatening anybody anyway. You only threatened you hurt yourself. It's
exactly.
Not like you're even, I mean, I don't know, you obviously at the moment weren't thinking straight.
Exactly.
But in your anger, had you said something like with the knife, had you said you were going to do anything else or something like that for you to be worried about the cops?
No. Well, okay. After the whole stabbing, right? I had a gun, right? I had a gun, and you know, my dumbass. Before the whole knife, I had pulled the gun out, and I was gonna not shoot myself, but just like trying to scare her. I guess
you were saying you were gonna do it though.
Yeah, and so if I happened, she came. She I guess she took it too serious, and she started fighting me over the gun. Gun goes off. Nobody gets shot though. Just shoot in the air. That's another reason why the cops got called.
Okay.
You know,
and that makes sense as to why you were actually worried about the cops.
Yeah. And so, you know, that happens. I grabbed the gun. And then at that, she had knocked down all the bullets. So there's bullets scattered everywhere. And I'm like, fuck, I don't have enough time. I need to hurry up and pick everything up. So I put everything in a box and I take it with me and take off, you know. Oh, after that, after the gunshot, that's when I stabbed myself. Because after that's when she started saying all this, like, you know, I wish my son didn't have your blood, and this and that. I wish you were dead. I wish I never met you.
And then that's when you grabbed the knife and...
Yeah, that's when I grabbed the knife and, you know, stabbed myself. Like, well, you know what? I'll grant you your wish.
Man, that story went a little bit more than you said at first.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story. Yeah, not something that I like to put out there, you know what I mean?
But you just did.
Yeah, I know. But I guess, you know, it's about that time to
let it go.
Yeah.
In that, like, have you ever had a feeling similar to that in that moment, like of wanting to hurt yourself, even if it's just for like you in that same type of way?
No. It was just that one time. I guess you could say, like,
what do you think it was then about that one time that you not only felt it, you felt strong enough to do it? Knife. Like, again, see, that's just, it seems extreme to me.
One thing about me, it takes a lot. it takes a lot to get me mad, you know. But when I get mad, like, that's it. Like, I see fucking red. You better get out the way because I'm taking everybody that's in my way, you know. And that's what happened. See, me and her, we would fight, but it would just be like little arguments here and there, nothing big. And I guess like I had everything balled up, you know. That one day was the day that everything just exploded and just seemed completely red. Didn't care about nothing, and that's why.
And have you ever had that type of not towards yourself, but just that type of explosion at a different time? Where it feels like everything just burst after being balled up?
No. I think that was just
that was the biggest time of your life of that type of emotion? Yeah,
that was the biggest event that I've ever had like that, yeah.
Well, it sounds like there was a lot of pressure building up to that point, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
what? Like I guess you did say it was like towards the end of y'all's relationship too.
Yeah, like we would have little fights here and there, and like I would hear things from her friends that they would tell me, and I would try not to believe them, but they would still, you know, be floating around in my head. Like, could it be true? Or, you know, like, that's one of her close friends. Why would she lie to, you know? And so I guess like all that just, you know, balled in there, and then eventually everything just fucking popped and from there.
It almost sounds like it may have been just like a full release of emotion, like that started from the time you're like, because you guys said that you had your baby so young.
Yep.
And it wasn't that long before that your dad had died. And it's like you had like a 5, 6, 7 year period of this buildup of pressure.
Exactly. And besides all that too, like she wasn't ready to have a kid yet. She did tell me straight up, you know, I don't want to have kids yet. And that's another thing. That's one of the reasons why we named our son Zechariah, because it means God remembered. And I've always wanted to have a kid, you know. I would see my friends with their kids and stuff, and I feel like, hey, I'm staying behind, you know. So she didn't want to have a kid. I did. She got pregnant, right? And then one day, you know, we were talking, right? And we thought either her or me couldn't have kids, you know, because, you know, we were trying.
Yeah.
And so we go get checked, and she comes out crying, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? In my head, I'm thinking like, did I give her something? Did I do something, you know? And so she comes back crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she goes, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, what? And so I was happy. She wasn't.
Yeah.
You know? And so I guess that's one thing. I guess that's why she says that when she left, that it was postpartum depression, because she wasn't ready to have a kid. She still wanted to continue her school, which she still did. And yeah, so that happened. She told me, they tell her she's pregnant. I'm happy she's not. But, you know, as time went by.
And it just kind of keeps getting worse and worse. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, you know, my son was born, and everything led up to that one moment.
So was that after that? Was that when she left?
Yeah, when she...
Like, was that like the time that she left right then after that?
Yeah, the time with the stabbing, that was the time that we completely broke up. She went her way, I went my way.
And then...
But the time when she left...
That was that the first time? Like, whenever... Wait, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Like, that was after y'all had already got back together. The kid was older at that point.
No. The kid... my son, he was still a year.
That when the stabbing happened?
When the stabbing happened. My son had just turned maybe... a year. He was probably like a year and a couple months, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's okay. I'm gonna catch you up real good.
All right.
Real fast. So okay. So she left during the postpartum depression, right?
Yeah.
She came back. You know, my son turned 1. We had his birthday. Everything was good. And then from one of her friends, I think this is what really kind of like pushed it. Because one of her friends had told me, that she was planning on leaving me, but taking the kid, you know, and she had already left one. And I'm like, what the fuck? How you gonna just come back and try to take my kid up there this whole time?
Yeah.
I'm the one that, you know, was fucking waking up in the middle of the night to give him his bottles and all that. And so, you know, her friend tells me that, and I'm like, why would she tell me that, you know? And so the next day, before the whole fight happened, my baby mom tells me, she's like, hey, my mom's on her way. She's going to come visit. And then I'm going to go back with her to Florida. And in my head, I'm like, is she really coming? Or are you going to fucking try to leave with my son? So that's in my head. And so, you know, we start arguing, and I bring that up. And I see her face. And like the face expression she made kind of like gave me the hint, like, oh, it's true, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when the whole fight started. So, yeah, that's when the whole fight starts and start getting into it. The gun comes out. I ended up stabbing myself. And whenever her mom got there, she was like, her mom gets into all this fucking drama. Cops are everywhere, you know? And so she's calling me and she's like, hey, you need to come back. And I'm like, nah, like, he trying to get me locked up. But she's like, no, I didn't press no charges and this and that. And eventually I ended up coming back. She ended up leaving with her mom, took my son, you know, and yep, after that,
it's like you really that incident though really opened the door for her to be able to take the son without you being able to fight back too much.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's where I fucked up, you know. But you know, to this day, we have everything's good now. We have a good relationship. We co-parent. We talk. You know, yeah.
You, if you kept your cool in that situation, you probably would have a lot higher of a chance of like your son staying with you.
Exactly. Well, even at that, I think if I would have never done that, like I sometimes I do look back to it, and sometimes I think like if I would have never done that, I would have probably still had my family, you know, my son and her, and who knows where we would have been now, you know. But I mean, everything happens for a reason. Maybe we weren't meant for each other. And
do you think that if she was going to leave either way, do you think that looking back on it, it was best for your son to have gone at the time? Because like, or do you think you at the time would have been able to handle her leaving again and then be able to like?
I think it was better that it happened at the age that he was, because he was a baby. He there was how could I say he wasn't gonna remember that.
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't gonna be something traumatic to him. You know what I mean? So yeah, in a way, it was. I guess you could say it's a good thing that it happened at the age that he was instead of at the age that he is now. Because at the age that he's now, if that would have happened, I know it would have hit him harder. You know, he could have probably looked at me different. Like, I guess my dad's crazy, or you know.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is for you. Like, do you think that you were in a position you would have been able to raise him on your own?
I think so, because like I said, when she left the first time, I mean, yeah, of course I was struggling.
You were already learning.
Yeah, I was already learning. Like, and everywhere I went, you saw me with that car seat everywhere, and you ask around, they'll tell you like, yeah, he everywhere he went, even if I was just, you know, going to hang out with my friend's house, my son was right there with me, you know.
It sounds like that moment was basically also partly just because you were afraid of losing
exactly
losing that having your son with you all the time.
Yep. And that's one of the reasons why that kind of like why you could say I exploded that day, because in my head I'm like, bitch, you left me once, and now you're gonna come and try to take my kid after all this time. I'm the one that's been there for him, and you know, feeding him and taking him to his appointments and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna come here and just snatch him from me. I'm like, nah. And so that's another reason why, like that day, everything just
why it happened the way it did.
Yeah, why it happened the way it did.
I mean, yeah.
I guess you could say I had some anger inside too, like of her leaving me with a newborn. You know, like who does that? Normally it'll be like the father leaving. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not the mother. But yeah.
So yeah, you said you had a lot of anger for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And a lot of like panic too in that moment.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad I asked that. It gave you a chance to bring that up because you really that exchanged the story quite a bit, honestly.
Hey, quick, let me just give a quick shout out. I want to give a shout out to my boy Manuel. And, I know he's gonna be listening. He just got out. Damn, I'm glad you out, boy. We all missed you out here, and I want to give a shout out to my boy Jericho out there, and that boy Samuel Faust. Stay up, boy.
I would have let you do that at the end, bro. What are your goals moving forward? Either short term and long term.
Short term and long term goals. I guess try to get closer to my son. It's one of my goals, and long term goal is one of my long term goals is to try to get out of Oak Cliff.
Is even though like they're building it like it's not even the hood no more, a lot of it.
Well, I know, but like just growing up here, I just want to leave this environment.
Yeah.
Start off fresh somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What do you enjoy in life right now? And you can't say like I'm not gonna let you say like playing with your son because everybody would say their kids.
Nah, one thing that I enjoy about life right now is, I guess you could say, like the freedom. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I get lonely because not having a girl around, but at the same time, like I'll see like my friends with the girls, and they're always constantly calling them like, "Where you at?" or "Who you with?" or I guess you could say one thing that I like right now is my freedom.
Just living the single life.
Living the single life, not having to get questioned or give a response to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one thing that's gonna happen that it's not like you hope is gonna happen? One thing that is gonna happen. Okay. It could be something. It could be something simple or important, whichever. Either one. Just one thing that you're looking forward to.
One thing I'm looking forward in the future is to be able to grow up to be an old man and be able to see my son get married and have his kids, and his kids come see me.
Man, that's that hopeful.
I know, right?
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you, Jesse, telling us your whole story.
No problem, man.
You've been very open and honest, especially with all those details at the end.
Kind of changed the story a little at the end, huh? Made it a little interesting.
All you guys out there, remember, you only got one life to live.
Exactly.
You might as well enjoy it while it lasts.